Well, folks, we made it to season 7. Welcome to the Vulnerability Time podcast. I am your host, Josias Abriel, and published author. Speaking of published author, before the episode starts, make sure to go check out my books. They're available on Amazon, and the link is in the episode description below. Go ahead, get you some healing. One's a poetry book about overcoming pain and trauma and stuff like that, and then the other one's a self-awareness interactive journal notebook. So get you some healing. You're worth it. Another thing that you're worth all the love in the world. You're worth all the healing in the world, and I'm glad that you're here with us today to heal together. You are loved, you are valuable. This is your sign. Alrighty, enjoy the episode. Bye, folks.
How are you?
I'm good. Yes, I'm gonna record as promised. Okay, so the NDE, where should I start, Aaron? Well, since it's recording, folks, an NDE means near-death experience. Um, it's when someone, you know, leaves this earth and comes back. For example, like someone's in a car accident and they go on the other side and they're declared dead, but then they come back to life. And it's what they experience on the other side. That's what I call it, the other side. That's what an NDE is. I hope I explained that good. Did I explain that good, Aaron?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's passing away for a
Mhm.
short amount of time and then coming back into your body and regaining consciousness back into this world.
Yes.
And I think it becomes sort of this bridge between the spiritual world and our, I guess 3D world.
Yeah. So you said that fabulously. That was perfect. Yes, I echo that. Um, Definitely that bridge, and it's definitely a much needed bridge. Where should I start, Aaron? Where would you where should I start? Because I could start two places. Where should I start?
Well, I am really fascinated with sort of I okay, so let me put it this way. Let me give you a little frame of reference before I ask this question. I have met a couple of people, one of which I was partnered with, that have had a near death experience and came back to this world with a different perspective, but also with like a different understanding and maybe even some friggin' superpowers. So I'm very fascinated with that idea that in having this experience and sort of almost being gifted some perspective and even abilities.
Yes.
W- did you experience anything like that? Do you feel like you after that happened to you came back with sort of, more of an
Superpowers.
intuition or some sort of, yeah, some sort of superpower?
Yes. Yes. I will answer that in full, but I will say first, I was thinking about it and I was like, I think I do need to start where I was originally wanting to start. Just because, one, um, you know, I've been meaning for like a year now to record a bonus episode of just sharing my NDE, but because it was just me going to do it, I didn't, there wasn't really that accountability. 'Cause I just was like, maybe it's not a necessity. So I was like, and I just kept putting it off. And then when you mentioned the record, I was like, okay, that's totally the universe because I've been putting this off for a little over a year now. And so I think that was super cool that you did that. So folks, thank Aaron and the universe. Um, because if it was just me, this probably would have came out, I don't know, later on. But yes, Aaron. So for those listening, I'm going to get into Aaron's question more, but I want to start, give y'all a little bit of background. I'm just going to talk like I'm talking to Aaron. How about that? So, well, I guess I should say, oh yeah, I've had an NDE, near death experience, folks, and I did indeed get to go on the other side. Aaron, I got to go on the other side, and so the I'll start like what led up to it, and then I'll get into like the really like cool stuff. So what led up to it was basically years of trauma, abuse, nothing great, nothing positive. I mean, I'm trying to steer away from using the terms positive and negative to like judge my experience, but for folks to better like understand, I guess like I'm gonna use those words just to help the point be more digested and understood. Because it for me, not using those words, that's more of like an internal spiritual journey. Um,
Well,
so yes,
the experience can be what it is.
yeah,
It doesn't necessarily have to have a positive or negative.
right.
Like,
It just
allowing the
is.
audience to determine whether it's positive or negative is their choice
Mm,
to take it. It's an experience. There's like an old I'm not gonna say the proverb, but there's a Chinese proverb that talks about, it basically lines these things that happen that as it starts, person loses their horse. But then, and it's like, oh, this is a tragedy. But then that leads to this amazing thing that happens after.
yeah.
And then the next thing happens and it seems like it's bad, but then it actually leads to a positive. And it's, the whole idea is that, one thing that may be negative is setting a ripple effect that has greater good farther down the road. And I like to live in that way, and if people want to put labels on something being negative or positive, like, that's okay.
Right,
That's
right.
just not, I mean, it's an experience, and we
Mhm,
don't know what the future is gonna hold with that experience.
mhm. I love that you said that. So that helps me verbalize it better going forward, just in general in my life. Because I was looking, I was like, how do I verbalize, you know, situations, in my journey? But I like just the word experience. Just like, okay, it is what it is, and if take it how just whatever they take it as. But so I would say like my experiences. I guess well I'll have to delve into what those experiences were. So, um, my experiences were, and the reason there's a strategic reason why I'm mentioning what I'm about to mention, and because this all is going to make the NDE, the near death experience, just more beautiful. Um, so my experience as a child, and mind you, my ND happened at 15. Okay, there we go. I think I got all the background. So, my experience from, as long as I can remember to, I mean, as early as I can remember to, 15, February 23rd, 2013. Um, my experience with my parents, I did not know love. The experience was very hateful, and like they hated me. They abused, well,
Mhm.
my father abused me. My mother let a lot of it happen. Um and so like, and I do believe that my father was one of the men that molested me as a child. So that's and however, my like childhood was filled with just being molested and just being physically abused. That's all I knew. I thought that was the norm. I thought that everyone went through that. I thought everyone's parents was like that because, you know, um, I was taught that I'm going to hell because I'm gay. I was told multiple times, many of times, that my mother should have aborted me, that I should go kill myself.
Mhm. I'm
Mhm.
so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I received that. Yeah, so love in my childhood was non-existent, and I didn't know until I died that love was non-existent in my childhood. I literally had nothing to compare it to. I had no clue. I was a very I don't want to say angry child. I don't want to say bad child at all. Well, I never say bad child. I don't want to say angry child. I want to say abused, hurt child. And the trauma was manifesting in multiple ways, like pushing away people that were trying to love me, friends that were trying to love me, trying to care for me. I would push them away, I would hurt them. Um, and I got in a lot of fights um, because I was getting bullied because I was gay, or it was just because I was going through physical abuse at home. So, like, I would, of course, like, my brother described it as trying to beat the gay out of me. And he was bigger than me and he was just better at fighting. But I knew deep down I was not a fighter. Like, I just don't like putting my hands on people. I just don't like that. I mean, I've never liked that. Like, even in times to like, when I had to defend myself because I was getting bullied and things like that, like, I just never would have, I never wanted to. Like, it was gross to me. What?
When you grow up as a compassionate soul and
Mhm.
have an experience like you had as a child getting abused and physically hurt, the idea of doing that to someone else is like a mortal sin.
God, that's what that
I I
is.
I feel the exact same way because I grew up very similar. Like, I would
Mhm.
never get in fights, and I'll be honest with you, I'm 6'5".
Mhm.
Like, I am a giant human being,
Yeah.
and I was bullied for most of my life as well,
Mhm.
and I think that comes from like, I'm physically bigger than people, but I still got bullied because of the type of abuse that I was subjected to as a kid
Right.
and it allows that to actually happen. So
Right.
it's like you're sort of we are a product of how we were raised.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm like cutting you off from your story, but I just felt like it was important to kind of
Yes.
to point that out. Like, of course you don't want to fight. Like, you don't
Right.
have
No, I
you
needed
don't
to
have
hear
that in
that.
you.
Yeah, I needed to hear that. No, that was beautiful. I did need to hear that. So thank you for saying that. I did need to hear that. I really did. Um yeah, and so I just, after hearing like all of just these negative things and having these negative things being done to me, or excuse me, having these experiences done to me, I started self-harming, so I started cutting myself. I still have two scars, but you have to really, really, really look close to see them. Like, sometimes I'm just like, where are they? And I have to like really look close, and I was like, okay, there they are. So I still have two scars. I mean, I self-harmed way more than that, but two scars from back then, from like over a decade ago. But I still have the scar. But it's just now it's just getting harder and harder to see them. Um, like, literally, like, I trying to find it right now, but because of the lighting, I don't think I can find it. So, but that's just to show people like the magnitude, of, yeah, of where I was at. And so, I remember there was these two main bullies at high school, two main bullies. So now we're in high school. So there's these two main bullies, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm by, telling the principal and telling, teachers, and it's not enough. It's not enough. They're either dismissing it or whatever. So I told myself, I was like, you know what? After this Christmas break, the first one of those two, I mean, there was multiple men that would bully me. It was just multiple men that would bully me. Just That's just how it was. And so but there was two main ones though that I saw, more consistently, more regularly. Whereas the other ones, it was just like, okay, I would see them 2 times, 3 times a week. But the other, like the main two, I would see every day. One was on the bus and one sat close to me in the morning. And so I was like, whoever is the first one, I'm going to attack them. And I did. I attacked them and I won that one. And I mentioned that because it was um around that, like it was, I think, a week or two before that event that I decided to take my life. Now, another reason why I mentioned, winning the fight is because I didn't know what it felt like to have protected myself and overcame. I never knew what that was like. I always knew, just some man just doing whatever they want to me and getting away with it. Whatever they want, whether it's saying whatever they want, whether it's doing everyone. And it doesn't matter if the cops were involved. It doesn't matter. It just seems like, and I remember I was just like, why did my life seem so strategic? Like, why does this, like, as a kid, how I felt then is I felt like, and this was before the indie, but I would always say, up until recently, I would always say, my life, my childhood, it seemed so strategic. It seems like I was always at the wrong place at the wrong time, all the time. Very, very consistent. And I'm not exaggerating, it just seems like I was there to take on the abuse, the trauma, and of course, I suffered from depression, PTSD, and I didn't know I had that. Um, and, anxiety and things like that, mental illness, obviously because of the trauma. And, started to fall into addiction, which my addiction was webcamming, because I was like, safe enough to like, and yes, though I was like young, like I was young, there were of course guys that were like old, like older. So, I didn't know at that time that that's like a bad thing. I didn't know that the age was a bad thing. I just didn't know. But I felt loved in those moments. Someone seeing me in a vulnerable state and accepting my body, even though they were probably just, accepting it because they were like horny or whatever. But to me, that was better than the rejection that I was getting. So it's like I found somewhat of the right thing, but obviously in the quote unquote wrong place, but I felt loved. I felt loved. I felt accepted. I felt feelings that I've never felt before, and though it was still like looking back at it, like, of course, like mm, it was still nothing, but that nothing was better than the nothing that I was getting, and so, um, addiction just got to me. I also got baptized around that time. Mind you, I still was always told, and my father was a pastor. I still was always told that, you know, um, if you're gay, you're going to hell, and that, God doesn't love someone like me and God doesn't want someone like me, and I was just told that, by my father. I mean, the man just really showed hate. Literally would starve me sometimes, to like starve me straight, and so, and here comes, I think, a week or two after the fight, here comes February 23rd, 2013, and I decide to take all the pills. I took all those pills. I'm not going to say which ones just because I really don't want to give people ideas, but it's a very popular pill that people take. So I feel like if I said it, everyone would be like, oh, yeah, 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 we've heard of that. So I took a pills, and I just remember, like, because of the type of pills, it affected your kidneys and made them hurt. Um, I didn't know where the kidneys were at that time. I didn't know much about the body. I just didn't. Um, but I just remember I was hurting in near my abdominal area. That's around the stomach, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, yes. Yeah, so I just remember I was like hurting so bad, and I just knew that I was leaving this earth, and I felt this deep, deep regret, and I don't know why that regret happened just yet. I don't know why it happened just yet, but I have heard of people who've like really went lengths to take their lives and they feel that regret. And I think that might be because it wasn't their time. I think that's what that might be. I think it was such a deep spiritual feeling telling the soul it's not time. Stay in the body. I know it's obviously like the body is saying leave, but stay in, stay in. That's what I'm thinking. But I guess I'll find out soon. Um,
I have some thoughts on that if you're interested in hearing.
yeah, go for it.
Um,
I would love to know actually.
I agree with you. I think it is our spirit saying, "No, no, no, this is not our time,"
Mm,
and the regret. I also like to kind of look at things a little bit. I like to fuse a little bit of spirituality and science. And I think there's also a part of our brains, our actual minds that go into this sort of survival and are not wanting to allow that to happen. And I think that there's a little bit of like a fusion between the two of our spirit being like, no, 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 this isn't you have more work to do here. And then our brain going, no, 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 we can't actually do this because I need to live. Like
mm,
I need to work more. And I because I've heard these stories about how when people pass away, they see their life like flash before their eyes, like in an instant, like everything that they've ever done and every
a
emotion that
little
they've ever
life review.
felt,
Yeah.
like a life review. And I believe in scientifically that's our brain kind of going, hey man, like let's not do this,
Hmm.
But I don't know, like I don't.
Right.
That's just my hypothesis, so to
I
speak.
am glad that you mentioned that because I mean I hey, that's another speculation that I didn't have because I just didn't I had no clue why that was there. I was like, kind of I was like, okay, I was like, that's kind of shitty. I don't think that was necessary. But I don't know why it was necessary, but I will say it comes into play after this. So
Mm.
and it comes into play in a way that I know I'm trying not to say positive or negative, but I think is a very beautiful way. I felt so low in that moment. Like I was already if if there was a rock bottom, I was able to dig deeper. Like my life dug me deeper. And so that's how like horrible I was just feeling because of everything. And then the regret, that deep regret sets in and it just dug me deeper. And so I was just complete darkness, as if I already wasn't, in the darkness. And so because I was hurting so much in my abdominal, I just said the words Jesus. Like I just said it like that. Like, I'm just like kind of like I'm hurting. This is the only thing I know to say. This is the only thing I can say. Is like if you're even real. And so I then died, but I was hugged. So it's like it was in an instant. And that's also what's really cool about near death is like some people when they get on the other side they don't know that they have died for like a few like seconds or minutes, however time works on the other side, because how time works there, it's we limit time here on earth. We're very low vibrational in that aspect, but it's very frustrating actually because I'm like, wow, this provokes anxiety and capitalism, but whatever. um yeah, so but I remember I was being hugged and it was by the Jesus guy. Now, that was the first and I'll get into what else happened and what happened after. But I look back and now I know that it was strategic that Jesus was the one that hugged me. Why? Because I was always taught that he hated me. I'm
The
sure if it
shame.
Yes, exactly. So I'm sure that if it was Buddha or Muhammad that I was taught hated me, I'm sure it would have been them that came and hugged me.
Right.
You know, yeah. And I also got to find out that the Jesus that I met was not the Jesus that was taught about in church. And it was Jesus itself, notice how I say itself, um, that told me hell is not real. Hell's
Mm,
not real. And he didn't open its mouth. Um, because how things were communicated on the other side was more telepathic.
mhm,
We can open our mouths, we can verbally say things, we can on the other side, but we don't have to. We could choose, you know, whatever you want. And so, mind y'all, in this moment on the hug, I was still on the other side, and I just was looking down, and I literally felt my tears go away because I was crying. I don't know how I was able to be on the other side and still feel my human tears go away. But I felt that in the amount of love, I cannot explain the amount of love, oneness, acceptance, beauty. You were fully
mm,
seen, you were fully known, you were fully loved. Like, it is insane. Like, imagine the best love that you experienced on this earth does not compare to that at all. Like, I think genuinely, I think on the other side, I think it's a different word than love. I just think love is the best that our human earth words can grasp because
wow.
love is on the other side. Whoa, like that's love. And especially to someone who has never experienced love in this incarnate. I didn't know until after I died and came back that what my parents were doing was not love. I didn't know literally until February 23rd, 2013. And it was just and that's what kicked off my healing journey. But that I and here's some things that I also learned and saw on the other side. So there are colors over there that we don't have on Earth. I don't know if you ever heard that. There are colors.
No.
There are there are I don't even know how to describe them because the best I can say is light or dark. That's the best I could say is like this
Whoa.
color's dark and this color's light because we don't have it on Earth. Like I know pink, blue, yada, like that was there, but there were other colors that were so beautiful. And there was this one color, it was kind of light, and I was like, that's a color. Like I thought I liked pink, but no, that color, oh, I want that color. But there's that color doesn't exist on Earth. They have there's so you know how here on Earth we have like plants, for example, like roses. For I'll use rose as an example, and we can look at that rose and it's just there, and it just we like the look of it. You know, we it's just there and it's just pretty and it's just there. It's just flowing in the wind. On the other side, the plants know you. You feel
Mm,
love from them. They like when you walk. They like they like kind of point towards you. So you know how like when plants grow, they point towards the light. They try to
mhm,
find the
yeah.
light. It's as if you were their light. They were
Mm,
following you, and it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful on the other side. I call it eternity. I don't call it heaven because how I was taught heaven was it was very limiting. What I experienced was so vast, so beautiful, so free. And guess what? I also telepathically was told that everyone comes here. Hell's not real. And then here comes this, what we call a life review. I was about to be shown my life review, but I didn't get to see all of it strategically on purpose. And I'm still learning
mm,
why I didn't get to see all of it. And so that's something that was really interesting. So I did get to see a little bit, but it was cut short. It was cut short on purpose. I didn't get to see from 0 to 15. You know, I didn't get to see that. But mind you, the small part of the life review that I did see, there was no, obviously I was a kid, so maybe that's why. But I was a kid during like seeing these life reviews. I was still a kid. I didn't get to see it from others' perspectives or anything like that. I didn't get that yet. Um, but while viewing it, there was just this sense of no judgment. And from there is when I was also telepathically told that and I say telepathically to make it more make hone in with people is like I was still dead. I was on the other side, transitioned in this beauty, and I was just you just know, like the words you just know. I don't know how else to explain it. But I was, told that there is no judgment. You're the only one judging yourself when you're in these life reviews. But it's not like you're bashing yourself. You're just like, I could have done that different. Or, wow, I didn't know I made that person feel like that. That was great. Wow, wow. Or now I understand why my parent did that. Now I understand. Now I see their childhood. Like, so it was kind of like I was told that, right? Um, and then I get told about what's called a soul contract. That is something that I denied up until recently. Why? Because when I came back, you know, because of the Jesus guy, mind you, you don't have to believe in Jesus. You can be atheist, you can be a Satanist. It doesn't matter. Everyone goes back to this beautiful place once they leave this earth. And I since then learned about the history of religion and the history of the Bible, and I learned that there is a lot of things that were lied and that they told us. And I think that it's very strategic. It's control, it's fear, it's a great money maker, and it's a great way to keep people in control and obedient, and because the Jesus that I met was not the Jesus that was in the Bible, was not the Jesus that was taught about in church at all, especially by my father. He was a very hate hell driven pastor, like who the hell is going to hell today, dad? Like, he's like that, and so to know that hell does not exist. So folks, if you're hearing this, if I decide to post this, know that hell does not exist. You are fine. Follow your heart, okay? If your heart is telling you to love someone or something like that, follow your heart. Don't rob yourself from that, because if you do, you're going to get that life review and you're going to be like, oh, well, now I got to come back to earth because I lived in fear too much, But there's no judgment, though. There's no shame on yourself. And no, you don't have to come back to earth, folks. But, anyways, okay, so the soul contract, right? It's a beautiful thing where I saw that I got to choose my parents. I got to choose everything. Well, I got to choose most things. How about that? Because there are still some things that are like that will happen to us that are like free will because of someone else on this earth. Because there are some there. So the soul contract, there are some things that are. It depends on your soul contract. Mine, there are some things. Most things were set in stone, but many people they don't have set in stone soul contracts. They just have kind of suggestions, and they're able to change it when they come on this earth. I don't I wish I mean, now as a human, I wish that I had a suggestion type of soul contract, because there's a lot of things that I would like to change on this earth. There's a lot of things.
I've heard of this stuff before. Like I've heard of
Okay.
this before, and one of the things that I talked to with my friend who also my former partner who also had a near death experience and was also very clairvoyant and connected to spirit,
Hmm.
prior to her near death experience, talked about soul contracts and talked about like generational contracts and
Yes.
like having to go through these things in order to then be able to break that contract.
Hmm.
And that's where I think we kind of talked about this a little bit in the other episode, but just this idea that we, you know, I believe, and I'll just use my own experience because I can't try to project my, onto your experience and the story that you're telling me. But I believe that I had a contract of some sort where I was supposed to feel all of these things that previous generations before me
Hmm.
weren't able to feel. And that I am one of the few people in my lineage of whatever that is capable of handling getting over that contract, emotionally capable of feeling all of those feels, processing that stuff
Mhm.
in order to then move on.
Mhm.
And as a, I'm a parent, so I it is incredibly important to me that that shit stops with me.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't get passed down to that next generation,
Yeah.
those children that I am now raising.
Yeah.
Um, and I think about a lot
That's
of that has to
important.
do with what you're talking about, those contracts,
Yeah.
that are somewhat written, I believe that they can be written before you, and you have to then fulfill that contract. And
Mhm.
previous generations, like say my parents, weren't capable of doing that. And that's why they're living in the same way that they're living today. And because they're not able to process that stuff that may have came before them,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
before that, in this whole generational or
Yeah.
astral line of people that,
Yeah.
we chose
Yeah.
because that's a part of the contract.
Yes, I like that you what you mentioned. Yes, so there can be some and everyone's soul contract is like unique, and stuff like that. But yes, there can be pre-written ones, but we also folks, we also have like complete free will. Like, so like if you want to make some tweaks and changes, you totally can, and it's all up to you. And you're doing it with like your spirit guides and your angels and folks, so I want folks to know, and I need this reminder, even though my human is overhearing it, honestly, I'm just overhearing it because I'm ready to go. But not go from the episode. I'm just saying like just go back home. I really want to go back home, like up on the other side. But so there is tons of support. Like you are being cheered and rooted for by so many beings. I just want y'all to know that. So another thing that I wanted to mention is so yes, there are some people that have like kind of like the generational contracts. That's not everybody though, but
Right.
that's definitely a lot of people. Um, and I learned that mine though was more of a volunteer. I call it voluntold. Not voluntold, but heavily suggested. And th- so I found out that I came to Earth more selflessly. Now, mind you, selfish and selfless, like there's no good or bad. Like it's just it is like there's nothing wrong with coming to the Earth to for your own soul evolution. Earth is the folks. I got to learn that there are billions of planets to go incarnate on. There's tons of life out there. I got to see a little bit of my past lifetimes. There was this really tall blue being, and they were just staring at me. I knew them, but I didn't know them. But I knew them. Like
Mm.
I knew them. So I'm just like, okay, that individual, whatever that is some individual that was important to me previously, because folks, we have been around for eons. We may not remember because when we choose to come into this earth, we come in with what's called a spiritual amnesia. So we forget everything. Why? Because that's how we can grow the most. If we don't know the answers to the test, that's how we will grow the most. And so earth, um from what I got to see, it appears that earth is, um you choose to come to earth, and earth is the hardest dimension, it's the quickest dimension, it's the most unique dimension, it's where hate and love exist so strongly together. That resistance is so strong. Most planets though are more loving and harmonizing. So folks, I want y'all to know, it gets great out there. Life is cool. The multiverse is real. That is real. um don't discount your dreams at all, folks. You probably got a sneak peek of another universe. So, but I got to find out that I came to Earth more selflessly, more for others. of course, soul evolution, or of course, that's just naturally going to come with Earth. It doesn't matter how easy or hard your life is, like, you're going to get soul evolution on Earth. Why? Because your vibration breaks down so much when you incarnate on this lower dimension. Because Earth is a very low vibrational place. I'm sure we can all see that. It's not hard to see. Um, but I want y'all to know, like, children dying, mental illness, that does not exist on other places. Like, that is that, yeah. So I got to see that, I came to Earth, I volunteered to just help. Um, and I can see that. I see it. I can see it now. Like, I really can see it now. I see that, that the pain, like, it did start turning into, like, purpose. I'm not saying all the pain has, because I don't know. Some I think no, but most yes. But that's just my human self judging that. But and I had this question I didn't get to ask there. I kind of found out after I came back to life. Um Oh yeah, last thing before I come back to life is how time works here. Time does not work like that on the other side. Time is more, it's happening all at once. Past, present, future. I don't know how else to explain it, but it happens all at once. And what feels like, it was so weird. Like, what feels like 60 seconds here feels like 60 years over there. Like, it just doesn't, like, it's really amazing. And it was just really enlightening to see that, wow, like, I was taught a lot of things that were wrong. And so it was very enlightening to see that there is nothing but love, beauty, and light on the other side. It is so beautiful. I even have a heart when someone dies. I've Because of that experience, I have a hard time crying or sympathizing, because I'm so excited for them. I'm so excited that they're off this planet, because I'm like, yes, you are living your best life. And yes, like, this is extremely temporary, like, extremely temporary. It really is. And all that stuff that, like, I've been craving on this earth that I haven't gotten yet, things like love, things like that, it's already mine on the other side. So it's already mine. I'm just here temporarily, and it's just temporarily. So folks, just know that you are worth all the love and all the beauty. You really are. You are so loved. It's insane. It's insane. And I can't even explain it, because I think even the best human love does not can't capture. Um, just so folks, just think about a time in your life where you felt loved the most, and just know that, oh, it gets better. It gets better. But yeah, there's I found out there's life out there. I found out we can choose. We have free will, everyone. You don't have to reincarnate. You really don't. Now, you might, because your higher self. I want y'all to know, once we're on the other side, we are in perfect wisdom and stuff like that. And so we know what's best for us, and we're still as conscious as we are now. We're just no longer in this physical form. I call it a meat suit, a human
Yeah,
meat suit.
human
Yeah.
meat suit for sure.
And I will say, like, when you're on the other side, you feel so light. Like, you feel so light. Like, so even to this day, having coming back in this body, I feel heavy. And folks, I just started weighing 140 pounds. I used to weigh, let's see, I remember my eating disorder got so bad that I weighed like 99 pounds. But even then, I felt heavy. I felt this heaviness because I know what it's like to feel weightless. And still to, what's up, Aaron?
I love this idea that you're talking about right now,
Yeah,
and it's something that I try to teach in coaching,
yeah,
is that there is an emotional weight that
that
we
too.
carry,
That too.
and it doesn't have anything to do with the physical. In my own personal work, I we have very similar backgrounds. in therapy and in doing the my own personal growth experiences, I have had these times where I have had like massive advancements in letting go of whatever trauma that I experienced,
Yeah.
or learning to frame it in a different way, and it literally feels like I'm walking on clouds. It like
Yeah.
feels like this giant weight that was on my shoulders is now been taken
Yeah.
off, and I can walk a little straighter, and I can move a little easier because I'm not carrying as much weight
Yeah.
as I have. My physical weight didn't change at all. I'm still 215 pounds. That did
Right.
not change.
Right. Right.
But taking this like backpack of emotional shit
Hmm.
that I was
Hmm.
carrying for so many years
Yeah.
and being able to take that off, it there is a lightness to it that is, I mean, we can't scientifically, you can't really explain it,
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
but it's there, and I think that's what
Yeah.
you're kind of talking about in that. It's, it's like this lightness and going to the other side,
Yeah.
you're now not carrying any emotional weight.
Right.
Like, that's
Yeah.
the part of the 3D world. That's what we
Hmm.
experience here,
Yeah.
and that's what I think what we choose to experience when we
Hmm.
come to Earth.
Yeah.
Like other areas, and you kind of touched on this, but I'm gonna reiterate it a little bit, is like like other worlds or other dimensions, like we don't have the emotion that they have here. Like I think what happens is we choose to come here to experience that,
Yeah. It's very unique. Very unique. Yeah.
to experience pleasure, to experience shame, to
Hmm.
experience grief, to experience sadness, to
Yeah.
to experience all of these things that we come to experience, the good and the not so positive, or I don't want to put it in those, we were
Right.
talking about that earlier about putting them into these things, but you come here to experience those.
Yeah.
A lot of us, I would say myself, and probably, based on what you told me, you as well, have experienced a lot of those things that weren't necessarily great feelings, and have been tasked with carrying that emotional weight,
Yeah.
and have to then go through that and to be able to let go of that, and to help others let go of that. I mean, I think that that's really your mission, dude. Your purpose here is to help people fucking let go of that weight. Like what you're doing with vulnerability time is showing people that it's okay to fucking talk about the shit that happened to us.
Hmm.
And that when you talk about it, it is really taking that backpack of weight
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a huge, huge thing to do for people.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, to be honest with you, it's why I'm sitting here having this conversation with you now, because I think we're on very similar paths in that. Like I feel like that's my job as well. So yeah, it's a fucking weight that you can take off.
Yeah, 1000%. Well, yeah, that's true too. But I was more so talking about like physical, like literally just the physical body. But no, that is very true as well, is the emotional weight as well. Because it is just so amazing. So, okay, also I don't know if I said it earlier, but I don't think I emphasized the amount of joy. I think I more so emphasized the amount of love. It is just not like folks, it is just nothing but just I'm trying not to label it, but it is nothing but positive, great feeling. That's all you're just euphoric. It is amazing. It's amazing, folks. Oh, so to get to your superpower question.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, I did come back. So, I came back with, well, I'm gonna start calling them superpowers now because of Aaron. So, because I never really called them superpowers ever, but I'm gonna start calling them superpowers. So, one, when I came back to this earth, there were so much things that were removed from my life, like so much anger and this kind person that I am. I never used to be that until February 23rd, 2013. And so, so much got just removed. I just literally felt like things just get removed. Um, so I've had spiritual attacks. Like I've seen certain things. Something one time like lifted me off of my bed. Literally, there was one time I was literally levitating off of my bed. Um, I've woken up with like scratches sometimes, and as a kid I always saw like something, and now folks might say it's schizophrenia. No, 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 let me tell you why it's not. It's not. But um let's, for example, like one time, there was a vase in our old house, old house, moving, and my mother was looking at it saying like, why is it moving? It was just moving. I saw a hand, a black hand, a black, folks would judge it as demonic hand moving the vase. I saw that. She didn't see it. She just saw the vase moving, but I saw the hand that was moving it. And so I've always, I mean, I have photo proof. I went to, this was recent too. Like I went to a cemetery with some friends and I was like, I think there's something unique about my energy. Watch we catch something. We caught something both times. We caught something both times. And I caught it on camera too. You could see a figure. But anyways, but um, so there's something a superpower. There's something different with my energy, is what I'm trying to say. And I noticed that my energy changes the more I evolve. Um, I used to. Okay, so I mean, well, I'm not going to say that part because running out of time. But I am more like extremely intuitive. I never used to be intuitive. I can literally feel people and I can feel when something's wrong. Um and I'm right about it. I can feel when something is about to happen. Okay, that was my alarm. I can feel when something is about to happen and I'm right about it. I can walk into a room and I can feel the energy. It's just different and I'm right about it. Um I get what's really cool is I get these. I don't think they're. I would. I say a dream slash vision, but it's so much more significant and powerful. And it ends up happening. It's not just any other dream. Like it's a specific. I don't know what else to call it, but a dream slash vision, and it ends up happening. And so I will say, um, folks, Earth is go. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just saying, just love. That's what I'm saying. Gonna say, folks, make sure you just love yourself too, because yes, others are important, but you are just equally as important. You are extremely important. Others are extremely important. When we get on the other side, folks, we are all one. There is no division. There is no religion. There is no none of that separating us. I mean, honestly, coming back to Earth, I look at this planet. Sometimes I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what? Like, this is wild. Like, what? But that's a me thingy because I'm just like, wow, like wow, like you don't like them because of what reason? I was like, wow, that, like, I mean, I don't like judge them out loud, but I'm in my head like, this is what occurs in lower dimension, and we are on that path though to extending. We are extending. So I'm just frustrated with Earth because I just stopped wanting to be here. But I feel like I'm a disgruntled spirit now, and I think I know why. But real quick, I'm almost finished. I'm almost finished. I have 8 more minutes, so I'm almost finished. I promise. And then you can
That's
like,
okay.
um, what do you call that? I was gonna say, yeah, and so I had two dreams recently. I mean, I've been having them and they ended up coming true. And it's this type of spiritual feeling that I felt while I was on the other side. Okay. And so that's how I know, oh shit, this is real. And it ends up happening. So there's two things that recent dreams, but I don't know what else to call them but dreams, but they're not normal dreams, folks. I don't even think they're dreams, honestly. So one is that I'm gonna die between the ages of 30 to 33. I know that I always knew as a kid, even before this, I always just had this feeling that I was not gonna be here long. Um, and I think that, my suicidal thoughts, I think I think that's so strategic. Honestly, I think it's strategic now. I really do think it was part of the plan. Because how suicide is viewed on Earth is not how it's viewed on the other side. Death is viewed in a very, we're taught death in a very broken way. Death is not, that's a very 3D word. On the other side, we call it transition or extension, because literally you're still alive, everyone's still alive, they're all waiting for you. Like, there's this huge celebration when you come back. You will see all your loved ones from this lifetime and previous lifetimes, folks. So trust me, they are here, and you'll probably be there in a couple seconds compared to six, because here it might feel like 60 years, up there it might feel like a couple seconds to them. They're like, oh yeah, I'll see them tomorrow, something
Right.
like that. So um and then the second one is, okay, so we're headed to light, but it's not going to be through light. It's going to be through darkness. I'll just say that there's going to be a great devastation and a great loss of population. And that's, I was only able to just see that. I wasn't able to see how that's going to happen. I think it's going to be through the a word that starts with N and ends in the word R. I mean, ends in the letter R. Has the word clear in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, because I'm just like, how a great devastation, like what would that look like? So my human self is trying to piece what it would look like together, but yeah, so but Earth will get back better and beautifuler. Like it will get back, because it used to be that way. A long, long time ago, Earth used to be this great, just beautiful, epic place. It just was amazing. It was beautiful, hate didn't exist. It was a high dimension. It's not anymore. But we're getting back to that. But I just gonna tell everyone, like, you know, there's nothing to fear with death, with dying. I'm telling you, it is so beautiful. You trust me. Yeah, you are loved, and know that, whatever happens, just I don't know what else to say, but to, just love yourself and love your neighbor. And I'm not Christian or anything like that. I'm not religious, but I'm just saying, like, I just think that's, we get on the other side, we're gonna be like, oh my God, I love you. I know I hated you on this earth, but I actually love you, and that was an earth, yeah, earth, which we signed up for. So we signed up for it, and I mean, I wish I could talk more, but Aaron, I know you got something to say, and I got 4 minutes left, because I have a meeting in like 4 minutes. But what's up, Aaron?
I just love all of this that you're saying. I also believe that there is going to be a great reset, and
I like that term. I called it like that the other day, actually.
and I have I have gone into some very deep meditations in the past, like guided with through other people, and have gotten sort of these, downloads or what have you, that have kind of said like that at some point I'm going to know when I am supposed to leave where I am, and I'm supposed to gather my family, and I'm supposed to go into, middle America, like
Mm.
Montana, Utah, somewhere, and to because something big is going to happen, and I know that I am supposed to survive that, and my family is going to survive,
Right, you're
and
the
that
one
we're
that's gonna
supposed.
stay and help. Oh, nice. You're gonna stay and help extend. That's really nice, because it's when it comes to great devastation, humans tend to, I mean, think about 9/11. Like, humans will come together when it's great devastation, when it's so, but this one's gonna be great. And so I'm glad that you're gonna be here to be a part of that. Aaron, I'm gonna die between 30 to 33, and I'm just starting to think it's either by suicide or it's by that. So I
Right.
think that the great devastation is close. I did feel that
How
in
old are you
that
now?
download. I just felt that it was close. And so I'm
How
starting to put two and two together. And I was like, is it?
how old are you now?
I'm 27.
27. Okay,
So
so
three to
30,
six more
32. So
years.
so 5 or 6 more years?
Yeah, 3 to 6.
3 to 6. 3 to 6
And
more years.
so, but that's the thing. I'm not the only one that's had that exact dream slash download and said the same
Mm.
thing. I don't there's two people that said it. I don't even know them. I don't know them at all. But when they said it, I was like, shut the front door. I said the F word. I didn't say front door, everyone.
I've heard very similar things,
Oh
and,
shit. That's
like, and one of the things is, like, I usually, like, I don't think of it as, like, a fear thing. I think of
right.
it as, like, "Okay, well, this is just what we're supposed to do now. I know that I'm supposed to gather up all of my stuff." Like,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I am super into sort of, like, I'm super into nature. Like, I love being in the woods. I love going camping. I love sort of learning, like, kind of like the indigenous, like ways of doing things. I know you got 1 minute. Um, and I think that's because I'm supposed to go help, like, and live off the land, and be a part of the people who are repopulating this world after whatever happens. And I'm not trying to
Mhm.
logic it or put any kind of sense to it. I just know that that's what's going to happen, and I'm going to inherently in my body, I'm going to know, okay, it's time for me to, like, go on a fucking
You're gonna
adventure and
know.
take my family and,
You're gonna
like,
know.
figure it out.
Yep. And that's true though, because we are going to go back to the barter system after the devastation after that. But you say the reset, that's great. I just don't like seeing kids die. But
Right.
I know that I don't come from Earth. I come from a planet where kids don't die. I did find that out. I forgot to mention that. Like, I'm not from this planet at all. My home world is something higher and we're loving and kids don't die. So that just it's still like I remember I didn't accept or know that kids die until I was 10 years old. Like I just didn't know on this earth. But okay, I gotta go. Aaron, oh my god, I just love talking to you. I wish it was longer, but I do have this meeting at 3. Well, 3 it's
All
3 my
good.
time.
We'll do this again, and you're to be honest with you, sitting here right now, I know you gotta go. This is making me wanna have my own podcast and to, like, start something. So,
Do it.
I'm gonna have you as a guest on my podcast soon because I love these conversations that we're having, and it's so nourishing and great.
If you want, we can schedule another time. If you want, you can go on my calendar because I don't know how to like explain it. I know how to show you easily. I can how to make a podcast. Like
Love
you
that.
okay. So yeah, just go ahead and do that. But okay, I gotta go.
Alright, get it.
Sending you peace, Aaron. Okay, bye.